So today I want to start talking about the emergence of order. Okay, we talked about uh, the emergence of disorder, right? Basically, the increase in entropy is the way of formulating how nature always tends towards disorder because of the probabilistic push. There's simply more space in the disordered uh, universe, right? But somehow things get ordered, and there is not just one mechanism for that. Okay, we will talk about one of those mechanisms today, and the one that brings you this. Do you see? Uh, uh, that's the point, right? Yeah. So it's a lizard that looks like a leaf. Okay, so it could be anything, but somehow it becomes this, right? So there is a huge push also towards order. And in this case, the mechanism is, we can call it genetic algorithm, right? So basically, the ones that are very similar to their habitat got very nicely camouflaged and didn't get killed. And the ones that survived make babies, and that's how it ended up here. Okay, so if we want to summarize this, basically, this is a very important theme in biology. Form corresponds to function. Okay, so if you want to fly, you have to have wings, right? So form corresponds to function. How the form is formed, but it has organisms have some codes, right? Encrypted in DNA. So code corresponds to form, which corresponds to function, which in turn corresponds to fitness, right? The better flyers have better food, better chance of survival, etc. And then their codes get transmitted to the next generations. So basically, if we skip this part, code decides what the fitness will be, and fitness decides what the code will be. So there is a loop that eventually leads to this kind of order. Okay? So, as I mentioned, we will talk about only one of the possible mechanisms of order, and today we are going to talk about genetic algorithm. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? Any comments? Okay. And I want to demonstrate genetic algorithm by solving one of the classical problems in computer science, in optimization theory and everything. And that problem is traveling salesman problem. So, have you heard of this before? You? No. Good. So, traveling salesman problem is a very simple problem with a very hard solution. It's the so-called NP-hard problem. I don't know what this exactly means, but non-polynomial time, right? Something like that. So its solution increases. We will see in a moment. Let's come back to what NP hardness means. So let's say you have a number of cities distributed like the cities are distributed, usually. Then your task is to find a route that starts in one of the cities, go to all the cities, and then come back. Okay? But you need to find the shortest one. That's the problem. So if you have, for example, 20 cities, how many possibilities are there? If you are going to solve it brute force, 20 factorial. If you have 100, you have 100 factorial. So it's not something that you can solve brute force, right? So we are going to use genetic algorithm for this. Are you with me? Yes.
Okay, hocam, first of all, I can give you an introduction for this. This problem was not even able to solve by computers for a long time.
Yes.
But they found out it was already known by the truck drivers. And they were already make sense of this mechanism and they were using this algorithm.
Okay, so there somehow truck drivers are aware of the solution. Yeah, we will see that the ant colonies also are somehow aware of the solution. And I don't know how that happens with the truck drivers, but ants, for example, we will come to that. Maybe we will not come to that, so I should mention it. So, for example, if you, since you opened the subject, so let's say this is the nest of the ants, and this is the food. So ants have this random walk while depositing pheromones that other ants would follow. They are basically putting back trails, okay, which is not stuck. It goes away after a while. So the ants that are choosing shorter path will complete the task in shorter time. So more ants per second will pass through that path, leaving more pheromones, and that will attract even more ants. So if you do this experiment, ants after a very short time, they will find the shortest path. Okay, and you can use this also to solve traveling salesman problem. Today we will use another thing from biology, genetic algorithms. Are you still with me? Yes? Good. So what we are going to do is we are going to choose individuals which corresponds to different possibilities of roots, like 3, 5, 7, 1, 2, I don't know, 6. What did I miss? 4. And another one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 7. I don't know, 7, 5, 4, 2, 1, 3, 6. Like this, many individuals. And then we will calculate the total path. Total path. And let's say this is 27, this is 12.1. You get the idea, right? So we will make a lot of them. So it will be number of individuals and individuals, and we will choose, let's say, best 3 of them, or 4 of them, or 5 of them, and that's the number of parents. We will choose number of parents. As the name suggests, they will be parents. So they will decide what the next generation will be. Okay? So somehow, just like in normal genetics, we need to come up with a procedure of mating. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Yes? Do you have any suggestion for possible mechanism? I have one, but I want to hear if you might come up with something. So you have two stripes, right? Both of them are strong, both of them are fit, and we want to get an individual that looks both as its father and its mother. That's the problem. How can you achieve that?
So we can take the shortest number from
Hmm?
corresponding blocks.
Shortest number from two corresponding blocks? What do you mean?
So we need the child should also have how many of these?
So let me just 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 7, 9, 8. 4, 8, 9, 6. Yes, go ahead.
So we compare each corresponding block from the mother or the father, right?
Mhm.
Whichever one is smaller, the child will inherit.
These are the cities themselves, right? So you mean we need to if you are doing your way, we need to. So let me tell you what I will do. Uh, can you make some noise? You. Yes, thank you. Okay, I'm going to choose a patch of path. Let's say this one. First of all, I'm going to actually copy the whole thing to the child. Okay, 1, 4, 8, 9, 6. Okay, it looks just like its mother, right? But then I will choose this patch, and I will choose that patch randomly. Okay, and I will look for the same numbers in the father, and I will reorder the numbers as in the same order they appear in the father. Okay, so 7, 2, 1, 4, 8. It appears like 7, 2, 1, 4, 8 here. But what about in the father? So 7, 1, 2, 4, 8. How they appear uh, in the male? Can you tell me?
In the second order.
1, 2, 4, 7, 8, right? Then I will plug it in here. So 3, 5, then 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 6. So it looks, uh, what? You didn't like it?
I'm expecting some kind of perfection how it's going to evolve. Yeah, like
What?
like he's saying, like every offspring is sort of has some superior trait. No, I don't think so. That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't see that.
You don't see that they have superior trait? Well, just assume that going 9, 6, 9, 6, 3, 5 is very good choice. Let's say, okay, and the father has it. So you can see that the child also has it. Do you see?
Okay. We randomly choose that portion.
Yes.
And we derive it from the others. And
Yes.
yeah, okay, let's see.
Okay. Are you sure it's okay?
It must be just exactly the opposite. Because if it is the path that we are following, then we shouldn't be just taking the random from the father, but it must be the vice versa. Do you understand my point?
No.
For example, 1, 2, 4, 7, 8. They are all split right now.
Yes, yes. Okay, that's a good point. So eventually, they will look very similar to each other. Okay? After a while, there will be like the patterns will emerge. Okay? And you will start copying actually chunks of patterns to the child. Right now, we don't see that. It's just comparing two random generations. It looks like that. But you will see that as you go on, you will see some particular patterns appearing. Okay? We are doing one more thing. and that's we just after we have this child. So what it corresponds to genetically? No, like mechanism. What that was? Crossover, and there you go. You should be in front. Yes, so you cross over the information genetically. I will do this. This can be accounted as a crossover. So you take some of the father's information, some of the mother's information, you put them together. But I will include one more thing, which is a little bit of cheating. Okay, since I know that it will work very well in this problem. So every once in a while the path will get entangled like this, and we know that they cannot cross, the paths cannot cross because, so let's say these are the cities. This one is always shorter, right? Do you understand my point? Like, okay, let's say there are 4 cities and the paths cross, right? You can always show that this path would have been shorter, right? So eventually, we will also see that we are going towards a nice solution by seeing that the paths will stop crossing, okay? But to achieve that, notice that you have to reverse the whole trajectory over here. You have to reverse it. Do you understand? Yes? So I will put something that you can count as cheating, but just like choosing any random patch, we will choose any random patch in the child that is formed, and we will reverse that patch. Okay, so it will eventually be 3, then 7, 4, 2, 1, 5, 8, 9, 6. Did you follow so far everything?
Is there a condition for reversing or just random?
Just random. We will choose a random patch with random size, with random placement,
okay,
and we will reverse it.
Are we making a kind of a tree that we are creating all the childs? Or
Yes.
Is it a single child?
Well, let's.
Isn't it better to keep the both of
them? Maybe it's better, but I didn't keep it, the both of them. Maybe it's better. So. Yes. I reverse it after I change the thing. So let's go to bigger fonts. Remember, the aim here is not to solve traveling salesman problem. Our main message here is how powerful the genetic algorithm is. Okay, so it's okay if we cheat a little bit. So let me explain the code. So this is the number of cities. Okay, and this is the number of parents.
Don't take an even number. You mean like pairs, 25 pairs?
No, it's the number of total cities. Okay, I will. Okay, okay. So these organisms are a little bit weird. They can mate with everyone. Can mate with everyone. Okay. So key number of old people. I will tell you what this means. So basically, we will choose. Okay, where is, yes. So we will, let's say we have n parents. Okay, if you mate each one with each one, and You remember we first chose one of them to look like mother. We do it twice. So one of them starts by looking like mother, then takes genes from father. The other one, so every pair will have 2 children. Okay. So how many pairs do we have? Distinct pairs. M parents times n parents minus 1 over 2. Okay? But everyone will have 2 children, so it's times 2. Okay? So this is the number of individuals that will be in the next generation. Okay? We will also include some portion of the generation from the previous one. So we will say that the best and old of the parents will be included in the individuals. Is this clear to everyone?
I will look at the preference formula.
This one?
Yes.
So let's say this is the first parents, these are the second parents. So each one will mate with a distinct one, and it will be n times n minus 1 over 2. Very good. So these are the number of individuals in one generation. Okay? So let's start with random city positions. Random positions for the cities. Can you follow? Yes? Let's forget about this one for now. So here we will calculate the distance between each city. Calculate distances between each cities. And we will do it just once, and later on we will just use that data. Okay? Do you have any questions so far? So this will be the fitness of individuals. Fitness of individuals. And this one will be like there will be n rows and n individual rows and n cities columns. So each row will represent the genetic code of the individual. So what can we call it? Code of individuals. Does it make sense? Yes? So, and we start with randomize, is it with Z? Codes of individuals. You have any questions so far? No? So, this will correspond to the minimum, yes. Here, having minimum path is better fitness, okay? So minimum path will be represented by this min f, which starts with a large number, and later on you will see that if minimum is bigger than, so if there is a better minimum, then it will be replaced. We will come to that. So let's start with random individuals, random city, random codes, okay? So what does these lines do? Can you tell me? Anyone? So we start with nth individual. We start with the number that the distance from nth city to the first city. Okay. Then we keep adding the mth city, the distance between mth city and m plus 1th city. So calculate total path for each individual. Are you following? Everyone? Yes? So that will define their fitness. Then what this line does? Sort fitnesses. Okay? So this B individual will give me... Yes, exactly. It will give me the indices of the best ones. So like the fifth one will appear first, or etc. So then what about this? What this gives me? Yes, the values of the sorted values, right? So the first one will be the minimum one, right? And if our minimum so far is bigger than this minimum, then our new minimum is this minimum. Okay? Update the best route. Then we will simply plot that minimum path. Does it make sense to everyone? So plot the minimum path found so far. Yes, tell me.
So how do you break this rule? So how do you know which one is the best one at the end? For example, there can be always a better fitness.
Yes, exactly. So I'm glad that you asked. We are going to find a satisficing solution. Have you heard of this word? Did you heard it from me first? No, damn it. Anyways, we are doing this heuristic kind of approach where we find. Okay, can I increase this? Yes. We can't guarantee that it's the best one of the best ones. Okay, we can't guarantee that. If we could guarantee that, then it would be no more an NP hard problem. Okay, but we can say that it's a good solution. And that word was introduced by this man. I think you should know some names in general. This is one of those names, and this is his output. Uh, I, I like this paper. Why a diagram is sometimes worth 10,000 words. I never read this article, but I use a lot of figures in my publications, and I don't feel bad. So anyway, go and so that's your answer. But I have an improvement in my code later on that might find a better one, the best one of the best ones. I will come to that in a moment. Are you following so far? Yes? So what these lines do? Can you guess? Can you tell me? Yes. So you have many individuals, right? So you choose best ones that have the number of parents amount of best ones, and you assign them to be parents. Do you understand? Yes? They get the privilege of mating. Okay? So assign new parents. Okay? Assign with their fitnesses and etc. What this one does? This line is actually wrong. No, it's not wrong. Is it wrong? anyways, no, it's not wrong. So you can see that the parents are automatically members. An old number of parents are automatically members of the next generation. They have the visa to go to the next generation. Do you understand? Those are the old ones. Choose. It's like if you are in the first four, you go to Champions League, something like that. Choose the parents that you will keep in the next generation. Okay, now is the fun part. Okay, so starting from 1 to m parents minus 1, n is this one, and m is m plus 1 to n parents. So each parents will be mated with each other. So let's see. You can see that it starts as one of the parents, just like I mentioned. Copy information from, let's call male, okay? Then you choose two numbers, random numbers, two cities, and you will span between them. That will be your choice of spanning. Choose the spanning window. Do you understand? Well, these parts are hard to understand, and I think we will lose a lot of time if I try to explain this. But just this function was super helpful, and I want to talk about that function. So let's say A is 1, 4, 6. No, let's it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and B is equal to. Have you ever used this function? Yes? So is member AB will give you a logical like this. So you will see that 2 is member, 5 is member, 9 is, and it puts ones in the relevant places. And this is very important for us because we are trying to find that patch, the numbers in that patch in the male or in the female, right?
Do we have the indexes?
You can do this, find, and then you have indexes, and that's exactly how I use it. Do you see? Find, then I sort. So basically you find the numbers, corresponding numbers in the females, then you sort it, then you plug it in the child. Okay? And this is the cheating part. Is it written like this or with A? There you go. Do you remember the reversing? Are you following? Okay, there you go. That's it. And this is another child starting with copy from female first, then do the other stuff, and then the reverse. Should I run it? Are you ready? So we will have 25 parents, which will produce how many individuals they will produce? So there will be 600 individuals. Okay, we will choose 25 of them. That will create 600 individuals. And we will do this over and over again. Are you ready? So you can see that we start from random cities, but the picture gets clearer and clearer, and the distance gets smaller and smaller. And this reversing takes care of some of the problems. Yes. Do you see? These are 100 cities, and it's impressive how fast it can solve it.
Why do some places crossover that, crossover that?
Because, for example, that's a very good question, by the way. Let's say crossing over and not crossing over gets you a little disadvantage, but maybe that species has more advantage someplace else, so they get chose. They get chosen. So you can see that eventually you arrive at a path that does not cross itself. What is funny? It's
Cool.
cool. Okay, thank you. So actually, can we do better? So you can see that in this form, genetic algorithm stops somewhere. I know as a fact that it can go down to 7.55 because I tried it a lot. And what is missing? Like, think of genetics. Mutation, yes, exactly. So if I have included, but I will not bother you with mutation. If you include mutation, you don't arrive at a solution so fast, but you are guaranteed that you will not get stuck in one of the solutions. Mutation brings novelty. It's a constant source of novelty, and if that novelty is correct, then it will be grasped. If it's not correct, then it will not be grasped. Yes.
When we have a local mutation, why don't we use noise in the system?
Yes, I mean, I even tried something like, okay, I tried a lot of stuff, and usually the result is that mutation slows down the speed towards solution. Wow, 748. It's some random city, sorry. Okay, so I tried this with a certain set of cities. That's I called 100 cities. So instead of random cities, I always started with this one. And I'm sure that it can't go below 755. I'm almost sure. So instead, I tried the following. So let's say you started with random. Are you following the whole discussion? Yes? So let's say you started with a certain individuals that had certain genes, and you explore the possibilities until you have nothing else to explore, if you have no mutation. Wouldn't it be better if we had several such runs and then make a Champions League, okay, where they can make even, so it's like, have you heard of the fact that if you are not closely related, then you will have better kids? I didn't say it properly, but do you understand what I'm saying?
You will have less genetical.
Yes, yes, exactly. Thank you very much. So the reason is that you don't put together weaknesses, right? So that's what we are going to explore. We are going to, I will not tell you anything about the code, but I will show it run. So this is that. And you can see that there are a number of champions, teams, etc. Like, it's really a Champions League. And
maybe you can modify this. You can convert it to a bet simulator or something.
you think that I didn't?
Same question. I have one last question.
Can you promise that it's the last one?
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Okay, how do we make sure our parents have all the good genes?
We don't make sure. I don't. So thanks to this cheating, that cheating makes sure that you actually have from that cheating, you actually have some richness coming, right? It constantly reverses paths, right? So you have some richness coming from there, which accounts for. If we didn't have even that, then we would be stuck very early. Let's try that. Okay, let's try not reversing, not cheating. Do you understand my point? So if I run this, it will settle down eventually, but it might settle on the crossed versions. Yes. Do you see? So every randomness is richness brought to, you know what I mean. Okay. Let's put it back. So let me do this with particular 100 cities like this one. And I'm actually very familiar now with these coordinates. I tried so many times to do this. And the best one, as I mentioned, has 7.55 or something so far, the best one. So let's see what this one will find out. By the way, again, we solved traveling salesman problem, right? But by the way, this is also a very informal introduction to genetic algorithms, because I got exposed to it very informally. Do you know where I heard of it the first time? In the design of nuclear reactors. So nuclear reactors have these rooms where you can place fuel, control rod, or reflector, different materials. Okay, you need to optimize many things, many things, like control rods should be able to control the reactor. Fuel should not burn out very quickly. It should be smoothly distributed. So many parameters. And let's say you have 80 rooms or 180 rooms where you can plug it differently. So what you do, you use genetic algorithm. One of the ways is doing this. You put a certain configuration and then calculate the fitness that you can define. Okay, then you compare them, you mix and match them, and you find the best one. Do you understand? So it's a general concept that you can use everywhere. So 834, right? This is the best that we get. Well, let's see it in action with the Champions League event. It's slower, way slower. We started. But let me tell you what is going on. It's actually going to calculate. Okay. Now we have 50 parents. That's making it slower. Okay, we started. Let's see how we are doing. So these are random ones, and they will be replaced as we get new champions. Okay. Then each time these champions mate within each other, etc. Do you understand the league? So running this one in a much faster office computer would result in better and better generations. 835, 827. What was our record previously? 8?
It was 34,
834. So we are already better, right? Because we are exploring different initial conditions, then we are exploring what would happen if they come together. You can see that each one of these paths are good solutions, but it's like a game of finding 7 differences, right? Especially towards the end, they will start looking more and more like each other. So for example, this one, can you see that the themes are appearing? Like this is a theme. Each one has that theme. Yes? So this is also giving you a gist of unity and diversity together. So you see some unity. Every bird looks like the other bird. But they also have some diversities. Okay? Tell me.
So if we have, for example, instead of 12 months, we just had, for example, 4 months, 4 champions, would it make it way slower or make it faster?
It will make it faster, but so your calculation, your steps will get faster, but your exploration will get narrower. So I'm not sure which one will find the best one first. In my numerical experiments, I realized that bigger generations are better. You have slower turnover, but you explore more. So let's see how we are doing. 812, 805, and it will go down to 755 eventually.
So this is the best algorithm that you achieve. This is the algorithm that you are talking about.
Yes, and you don't like it?
No, I like it.
Thank you. Okay, I think, do you have any questions related to this? Thank you all. See you next time.